check this out. This is a 8-track player for a car. So it's obviously old and vintage. That's cool enough, but look at this. This is an Audiovox FM Multiplex Stereo tuner. And what you do is you plug it in. So you put it into the 8-track. And then you can tune the radio. And I'm assuming the reason they even had that is because you probably put this where the radio was. So it kind of took the place of the radio. So if you actually wanted a radio, you needed to buy this thing. So I think that's kind of cool. I got this for $15 at a thrift store. Would have liked to have paid less, but that's not too bad. I think I might be able to hook it up and jerry-rig a connection to some speakers to see if it actually works. So this is a little confusing. So some of it's obvious. Black is negative, red is positive. It says it's 14 volts. I can probably figure that out. It does mention that green is the left speaker positive, and it says that gray is right speaker positive. It doesn't actually show this brown one. My son thought maybe that's the negative, and I'll need to split that to go to both speakers, because speakers have 2 wires. I got this thing kind of jerry-rigged up. I have a Radio Shack thing. It only goes up to 12 volts. But when I actually measured it, it was about 13.5, which is short of 14, but I figured I'd try it. So got it hooked up, very clumsily, using my trusty Donny Osmond. And I'm gonna pop it in and see what happens. Not sure if you can hear it, but it is making noise. So something's happening. So I will actually hook this up to speakers. I have this hooked up to these tiny little speakers. Donnie is in. He's ready to sacrifice himself. All I gotta do is plug it in. I haven't tried it yet. This could easily blow, which would probably make this a more popular video than it otherwise would be. So here goes nothing. Not much coming out. Something's coming out, and it's slow too, which could be because the volts are low. So this is gonna be attempt number 2. I now have it hooked up. I think this is probably from a laptop computer. You can see it puts out 15 volts at 5 amps. So this will be sufficient volts, but I think a car battery obviously puts out a lot more amps. And if I knew what amps was, I could explain that. I don't, but that may be a problem in and of itself. So here goes nothing. It's vaguely there. So I think this thing works. I'm gonna give Donnie a break. I put in the FM stereo thing. I don't know if that'd somehow take less amps. I really don't know. Oh, wow. All right, so the proof of concept, this is certainly working. Taking a closer look at this, again, the way that you tune it is by turning this, which is kind of neat. That's got to be the again, 4 head pickups, where somehow the radio interacts with the heads from the 8-track player. So that's interesting. I'm less sure what this is. I have disassembled it. I took, there's just some screws on the side that I was able to take off. I got the front panel off. I've sprayed deoxit into the volume, the balance and the tone. And actually the 8-track is sounding better. So let me plug it in. So that's still track 4. But there's track 1, 2, 3. All 4 are working. Can't get it to come out the one speaker. Tone works okay. But it definitely seems like it's working a little bit better. The thing is, sound is coming out of both speakers. But when I do the balance, it goes to that one, but then when I shift the balance the other way, nothing comes out. So I'm not sure exactly what that means. I hooked it up to slightly better speakers. It's better. So I've reassembled it, and I feel like it's a partial success. I was testing it and it started to eat up Donnie, so that's not cool. For reasons I do not understand, since I've reassembled it, the volume on the radio, even though it's up all the way, you can barely hear it. So that's super disappointing. I'm not sure what's going on there. Curious to see what's inside of this and whether there's anything I can do to maybe help it perform a little bit better. I can't really see anything. This capacitor has stuff on it. This one too. So possibly those are a weak spot. What's interesting is the head has this tape on it. And I almost feel like that should be off, but it was on there, the whole time. It's not like I put that on there. This thing, I cannot figure out what happens. When it goes in to the machine, it gets pushed like this. And there's obviously wires, so you'd think that would make a connection, but I don't even see how that connection happens. So looking at this closer, these two pieces will be connected this to the bottom. When the tape is put into the machine, that is going to connect those two sides. There's some corrosion on the front end. Still a little bit there. But I did clean them up a little bit and tested the continuity between the front edge and here, and now they seem to be doing that. So I'm going to try it again and see if that does anything. Cleaning that did not make any kind of meaningful difference, and I even went ahead and removed the tape from here. Probably a bad idea, or that, the film that was on top of it, and that made no difference. I don't know why suddenly, the sound is so much lower with the radio. There's nothing obvious on this side. There's a couple places where there was like some partial corrosion, but I used a meter to test continuity, and it was fine. This is what it is. I don't know what else to do to try to make this work better. I have it plugged in, and you can hear that the 8-track player works okay. It is coming out of both speakers. The balance does not work right. And obviously the overall quality isn't great, right? And again, that could just be a product of this, jerry-rigged system I got going on, or maybe something inherent with the 8-track player. So I'm a little frustrated by that I couldn't get the sound any better. The radio is still, even at top volume, even with the station tuned in, you can barely hear it. If I monkey with it, it can sound a little bit better, but you would never want to listen to this. And what's frustrating is that at one point it was working a lot better. So I don't know what I did do that's making it so crappy. So that's super frustrating, but partial success, and I will be selling this on eBay, so if you're interested, take a look. If you watched the video this far, please do consider subscribing. I'd appreciate it.